Hi there, it's Sandra from the Schwowin's Nest. Welcome to my channel. My first project is using Dollar Tree items. I have a couple of large burner covers, some of their beads, and I'm using Starbond medium consistency glue and this spray accelerator. What this glue does is amazing. It turns the glue into hard plastic. The medium consistency gives you some time to work with it, so it's like crazy glue or a super glue, but it doesn't actually dry as quickly. So what I'm going to do is put the glue on top of the burner cover where I want to put the beads. I'm going to set the beads down on top, make sure they're lined up where I want them, and then I'm going to take that accelerator and give it a good spray. So what I'm doing is spraying the glue. The glue is going to harden because of the accelerator properties, and it becomes rock hard in a matter of about 5 seconds. This glue is awesome. If you have never tried Starbond glue, you've got to give it a shot. I've got a link for you down in my description box. I'm going to continue this process all the way around the burner cover. I do end up using one full strand of these wooden beads from the Dollar Tree and about half a strand of another one. What I'm going to do now is flip the other burner cover over, and I'm going to be gluing that right on top of the beads. I'm going to use the Starbond glue again, but I'm going to do 4 beads on one side and 4 beads on the other side, just so I can control where I'm placing it. And because this medium consistency glue doesn't dry super fast, I've got a little bit of working time. So I'm just going to make sure that it's level and where I need it to be. And then I'll take that accelerator and give it a good spray on either side. Starting at one end where it's already glued, I'm going to add some of the glue underneath the beads. So I have a nice big blob in between the bead and the burner cover that is not stuck together. Then I'm going to hold it together, spray my accelerator, give it a gentle squeeze to make sure that the beads come in contact with the other burner cover. I'll repeat this process all the way around until it's completely glued down. I've also got one of these little tins that came from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to align it up into the center and then using my pencil draw a circle all the way around so I know exactly where to place the glue. I'm taking the Starbond glue and I'm still using the medium density, and I'm going to be following the pencil line. Then I'll put the pot right on top, and I'm actually putting the bottom side of the pot up instead of the other way round, as you can see here, because I want this to have a really neat modern farmhouse pedestal look. Then I'm just going to take that accelerator and spray it all the way around, and you can actually watch the glue harden and crystallize. It's a really neat process. So if you haven't tried Starbond glue yet, I would highly recommend it, especially if you're working with metal pieces. This is what it looks like so far, and now I'm going to take it outside to my garage and give it 2 coats of flat white spray paint. Here's the finished product as it's white, but now, of course, I'm going to have to do some distressing to it. I'm actually using this coastal blue color from Rust-Oleum. I've got one of those little paint pots. I don't use a lot of colors, so when I do want something a little different, I just stick to the small little pot instead of buying the liter. So I'm going to go ahead and give it some dry brushing. Now, these first pieces went on fairly thick, so I do end up going around it again with some white chalk paint and just kind of dulling that blue down a little bit. I'm sorry it's a little hard for you to see exactly what I'm doing, but it's dry brushing and I do it all the time on my channel. So I'm sure you guys are all familiar with how that technique works. If you've been here on my channel before, you've sure heard me talk about Pixabay and the amount of free images that you can use for DIY and decor. So I did find this sunflower image. It's a beautiful watercolor illustration. I printed it out on tissue paper and I'm just going to trim it down a little bit closer to the design. I'm going to apply a layer of Mod Podge, then I'll put the tissue paper sunflower on and then put another layer of Mod Podge on top, working from the center out to avoid any wrinkles or bubbles. To bring everything together, I'm going to use a makeup sponge and that same coastal blue chalk paint and go around the rims of both of the burner covers. This just makes everything go together really beautifully, and I absolutely adore how this one turned out. I'm so happy to be partnering with Rebecca, Jamie, and Mia to bring you guys some summer vibes, DIYs, and decor. To see what everyone else has created, go down to my description box and click on the link to the next channel. When you're there, watch their video, click on the link in their description box, and that will take you to the next creator. Once you get back around to me, the circle is complete and you've seen all of our DIYs. My next DIY is using this big slab of barn board that I brought home when we took down one of the sheds at our cottage. I'm going to use 60 grit coarse sandpaper, sand it down nice and smooth. Then I took it to my jigsaw. I rounded down the bottom edges and I cut out somewhat of a mason jar lid on the top. And I'm going to make a cute summer sign from this. I'm going to be stenciling some letters using a makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree and a clothespin as a handle. Now, this little handy tip came from Jamie over at Simple Roots Simple Living, and she is part of our little linking party today, so you'll probably see her shortly. It gives you a lot more control and really keeps your fingers out of the paint, which I really love because when I get paint on my fingers, I gotta go wash it off. I can't stand working with paint on my fingers. So I'm going to use white and black paint. I'm going to use different sizes of fonts. It's going to be a fun little sign. And I'm putting words on it like sip a drink, take a nap, relax, things that you're going to want to do out on your deck or your porch or your patio. I'm also going to freehand a couple of words because I wanted there to be a little bit of a script type font on here as well, and I don't have any stencils like that. So I'm using my black Craft Smart paint pen, and I'm going to be writing in the word enjoy. I used some of the blue paint and a small paintbrush. I drew in a little mason jar here on an angle with a straw and some liquid in there, and that of course could be liquid of your choice. And now I'm taking a stencil and I'm just going to dry brush a couple of little birds up at the top because the one word that I have next to it is listen, and I love to listen to the birds. I think they're so pretty to look at and so peaceful to listen to. I added a few leaf embellishments to the birds, and then I decided to also add it in all four of the rounded corners. Then I added some twine to the top by just wrapping it around a few times. But when I started taking pictures of the sign, you really couldn't see the brown twine. So I switched it out with some of the blue and white twine from the Dollar Tree. And I think this sign turned out pretty cool. My last project is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to be gluing together these oversized blocks. These came from a tumbling game, but it's a little different than the tumbling tower or Jenga. I'm going to glue 5 of them together side by side to make a base. Next, I'm going to take 2 of the medium blocks and glue them end to end and stand them right on top of the base, 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. Using the Dollar Tree wood bead garland that I cut apart, I'm going to use hot glue and glue a row of beads all the way across both of these tower blocks. Once I'm done with the beads, I'm going to add one more row of the tower blocks, and I'm going to glue them the same way I did the original ones, making sure that they're nice and secure on top of the beads. Once I'm done gluing, I'm going to take this outside, give it a couple of coats of flat white paint, and that's it. I've got a sweet little farmhouse napkin holder for my table. I hope you enjoyed my projects today. If you did, give me a thumbs up. That tells YouTube you like my video and they promote me more, which really helps support my channel. You can also support me by hitting that subscribe button, especially if you're new. Stick around a while. That black arrow will tell you exactly where to click. Thanks again for watching and taking the time to spend with me today. I really appreciate it. See you in the next one.